Hare Krishna. Dhanad pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sorry for the delay. I had some technical issues. I changed my location.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I had some issues. Okay, let me see the default microphone has changed to microphone display. Hare Krishna. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So I see a lot of devotees join today. Ramesh Reddy Prabhu, Yesh Prabhu, Ramavat, Preeti Mataji, Bhavani Mataji, Uttan Mataji, Kirtana Mataji. Kirtan Mataji, you wanted to lead us in today's Kirtan? Kirtana Mataji. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, short Kirtan. Kirtana Mataji. Okay. Those who have not been doing any surveys like this is a service only. Holy name chanting and all this. Anybody who has not been able to participate so far? Ramesh Reddy Prabhu, Ramavat, Anjali Mataji. Anybody who has not participated so far?
Participated earlier, Mahoday. Sorry, I participated earlier.
Okay. So, yeah, anybody would like to follow my Kirtan, you can do, but I want each one of you to lead Kirtan. So one tone, one raga which you like, and you can pick up and you can sing that. Okay, we'll start off then. Yesh Prabhu, you can join me.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि
जय।
वैष्णव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, so let me. There will be a very short and a simple quiz. So from the last session only, not much. Okay, so where we were. Let me see. Okay, so last session was the sixth session. Can somebody remember the title for the previous session? What was the title for the previous session?
Boss and the Das.
Okay, that was the previous session, but from a session 6, what was the title? Discover what? Discover title. Anybody on the chat?
Eternal love.
Eternal love. Discover the eternal love. Very nice. And the tagline was discover the real eternal love, fulfill the ever longing of the heart, because your heart is asking for something. That is what we are trying to get. Okay, so what were the topics that we covered as part of that? What were the 4 topics that we covered? What was the first topic? Anybody remembers? 4 sections. First section was what? Yeah, boss and Das. That is the second topic. What was the first topic? First topic was the attraction principle. So we get attracted to so many things in this world, but actually we need to get attracted to the eternal, which is what we are all longing for. Because this attraction which we are getting attracted to, whether it is a man and a woman or towards other material things, that is not going to give you eternal happiness. So the second topic was the boss and the das, supreme lord and the jiva, the soul. So what is the relationship between these two? We have seen. Okay, so what is the relationship between the boss and the das? Can somebody give their inputs? What is the relationship between the boss and das? Yes.
He is like Bill Gates who runs the Microsoft.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he is the driving force
Okay.
behind all the activities going on. Boss.
Okay. There is one boss who is running the entire show of Microsoft. Similarly, this entire universe, there is one boss who is controlling everything. That is the Supreme Lord. Yes. What is the relationship between the boss and the das? That is the second question. What is the relationship? See, if there is a boss, there is a das also, or a subordinate. What is the relationship we should have with our Supreme Lord and the Jiva soul? What should be the relationship?
We are a part of him only.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And we can consider ourselves as his servants.
Okay. Yes, very nice. So our relationship is that, yeah.
We should try to connect to God more by chanting and bhajan kirtan and listening of Bhagavad classes.
Right. So basically, the relationship between the boss and the das is basically that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but at the same time, we are not boss. We are not gods. We are
not gods.
gods. We are God's servants. Okay. Souls are eternal servants. And we came from where? We came from the spiritual world only. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Okay. And what did we discuss more? We discussed about the example of the stomach and the hands. I don't know whether I told this in the previous class or in the previous class. So if you wanted to eat food, the hands will help you to eat food and put it in the mouth. And finally, all these parts of the body are helping the stomach to get the food and finally the food gets digested and each and every part of the body gets nourished. So similarly, when please mute others.
Prabhuji, you gave an example of Devta and Asur also, Prabhuji, like when they
Yes.
stick then Asur's hand were tied with a stick and they were throwing food on their face.
Right. So the divine and demoniac qualities we have seen. So that what is the basic difference between the divine and the demoniac persons? What is the basic underneath difference? Anybody?
Demonic person will think only about himself.
Very nice. So in that example, what we have seen where when the Brahma was telling that the pastime, when given an opportunity for them to eat with the stick, they have tied them, so the hands cannot come to the mouth. So they were throwing like this on their faces so that it can come onto their mouth. But again, they were totally unsuccessful and they went to wash their faces. But again, the Devatas were nicely, one person was feeding the other person like that because their hands were tied, but at the same time, they were utilizing it in a nice way. So similarly, the demoniac persons will always are eye-centric, and divine people are not eye-centric. They wanted to serve the Supreme Lord. Okay. So what else did we see? Boss and das. And did you talk about dharma? No, I don't think we talked about dharma. So let me quickly talk about dharma. What is dharma? Yeah, I might have given it in the previously, but again, what is the dharma of sweet? Sugar? It is sweet, right? And what is the dharma of water? It is when you drink water, it should quench your thirst. And what is the dharma of fire? It is to give heat and light. Okay, so everything has got its dharma in this material world. In whatever examples I have given, it is all material. So what is the dharma of this this jiva? What is its dharma? Can somebody tell?
To serve the Lord.
To to render loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord is our dharma. So what is fundamentally what is dharma means? Quote in quote. What does dharma means? I gave the example.
Duty.
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 Okay. That
Duty.
is
Service.
Mhm.
Service.
Okay. Any other definition for dharma? Anybody? Duty is okay.
The
That is
thing we
Righteous.
should do.
Being righteous.
righteousness.
Prabhuji,
Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhuji, to have some kind of spiritual awakening in a person so that he understands what he has to give back to his creator.
Okay. I'm talking more from a very definition perspective, not specific to yourself or human, etc. Generally, dharma means what? Now we have seen the examples of sugar, water, fire. What does that really tell us?
It's a unique identity of a human being to give back.
Quality. Quality.
Quality of a
Quality.
human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
So dharma means that cannot be given up. Is called dharma. Now, if you take away the sweetness from sugar, it is no more called sugar. That which cannot be given up, that is called dharma. Now, if you take out liquidity from water, that is no more water, right? Similarly, if you take out heat from fire, then it is lost its dharma. That means it is not even called as fire, right? So similarly, dharma means that which cannot be given up or which cannot be taken away. If you have taken away, that is losing its quality, as you mentioned. Okay, so that is what I have not covered in the previous session, but that is also what I wanted to say. Okay, yeah, I think that is what we covered so far. Let's go back to our today's session. Let me share. Okay, I'm just sharing the screen. Is it visible? Is it visible, Mataji's, Prabhuji's?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Brahmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So thank you all once again to join today in the 7th session that we are in. We are discovering many things. One of the things that we are going to discover today is that discover the happy planet, where every moment is a festival. So what is that happy planet? If there is a happy planet somewhere, there should be also a planet which is not so happy. So to contrast, so the world which we are in, what kind of a world is this? So we need to find out, right? So there are 3 topics that we will discuss today. The first one is that miserable material world. The world that we are in is miserable. How is it miserable? We will see that. Blissful spiritual world, and the formula called ABCD. So let me just. Okay, so why we are saying this material world is miserable? Is it really miserable, or it's just that? Yes, do you really agree on that? The first one, the topic that
Agree, sir. Agree, Prabhuji.
Agree, Prabhuji.
Okay, so now the analogy that is given is that why this world is miserable. The morning time, if you see, the flower blooms but dries away in the evening. when you cut an apple, it gets oxidized. When I am a kid, I am a young youth, later on I dwindle, I get white hairs, I get bald head, and wrinkles come on my face. I kind of old age comes, right? So you don't like to become old, you don't like to get diseased, but again that happens. Why? Because it is by design, this material world is made like that. And it is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? Can somebody remember? What does he say about this material world?
Dukkalayam ashashvatam.
Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is Dukkhalayam. So we go to so many other places. Granthalayam. We go to Madhiralayam. We go to what is that temple called? Mandira. So basically this place is called Dukkhalayam. Devalayam we call it as, where the Supreme Lord is there. Vigrahas are there, Devalayam. So this is Dukkhalayam. So there is a lot of misery here. And what kind of miseries we have here? There are real problems are there. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. In addition to that, there are three kleshas. Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika kleshas. So misery is caused by this body and the mind, and the misery is caused by other living entities and the natural calamities. So these are all you are going to experience it. So if somebody says that you come and pray and there will be no miseries in your life, that is not true. See, Pandavas have faced so many problems. Krishna was there in their side, but still they had to face problems. So it is, and Kunti Maharani's prayer, if you, they are very nice prayers. If you wanted to read that book from the Bhagavatam, there is a separate book also, Kunti Maharani prayers, where she says that Krishna give us more difficulties because when the difficulties are there in our life, then we remember you. So this material world is having this such a setup such that we can think about Krishna, we can take shelter of Krishna. So that is what Kunti Maharani said. Okay. So in this world, everything fades away over a period of time. Why? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.425, where he says, Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhi revacha ahankara iti amme bhinna prakritimasrada. So he says, oh Arjuna, there are these are the separated energies of mind, like the tree separated from the tree, like a branch of the tree is cut out, and when you see it outside, it is green, but that greenery of that branch is for how many days? Maybe couple of days. After that, all the leaves get faded out and dried out, and then the greenery is gone. So we also, since all this material energy, whichever is seen here, we are part of that material energy. We have both. The spiritual soul spark is also there, but this material body is also there. All this material is separated energy of the Supreme Lord. That's what he's saying. Bhumir apo nalo vayu kam mano buddhi revacha ahankara iti amme bhinna prakriti mastada. So they are separated energy of mind. That's what he said. Bhinna prakriti mastada. This prakriti which you are seeing is by bhinna. That means it is separated energy of mind. So it will be there. The greenery is there, the beauty is there, but it cannot be there forever. It is only temporary. So that we need to understand. Okay. So it is, the example is also given about the hair. The hair is a separated energy of us. So when you cut it also, you will not find the pain because it's separated. And similarly nails. So the spiritual one is Chetan, and the material world is Jada. So So the jada is not going to be permanent. If Atma, that is you, if you wanted to enjoy jada, it will not give you the permanent happiness, because Atma, the soul, is always launching for something which is similar in quality what this jada doesn't have. So you cannot. So whatever amount of money, whatever amount of beauty, whatever is there in this material world, it will not give you enjoyment, because you are longing for something which is eternal, and that only you will get when you go to the eternal world. That is what we are going to look at it. Okay, so now the analogy is given about a woman in the villages, when there is a small stove, a small what do you say, with sticks they kind of make food by burning those sticks. But so what she does is that woman takes a small pipe and blows down the fire so that the smoke goes away when the fire comes. So what we are going to do, what we are doing is that we are trying to blow this smoke and disturb others. So if you can fire or ignite that fire which is there within you, and the smoke will go away. So the consciousness that we are currently having is that we wanted to enjoy the smoke rather than the fire. So when you have the fire, the smoke will disappear, or it will be removed. So similarly, if you pay attention to your spiritual life, like you all are doing right now, listening to these classes, by attending these sessions, that is like blowing on the fire, and such that the smoke will get away or it will be removed. So hope that analogy you could understand. If you have any doubt, we can ask. Is that okay? So one thing what we have concluded is that this material world is having a lot of problems, and by design it is like this. And it is compared, it is said that if you wanted to really get the joy that you are looking for in your life, you need to remove the smoke and ignite that fire. That's what they say. Tamosoma Jyotirgamaya. We don't want the smoke but fire. So Tamosoma Jyotirgamaya. So that is what we have seen. So temporary nature of the material world, the bodies of the beauty queens who in their youth make men go crazy. This boy wanted to write some songs, play some music to that girl, give flowers. But again, when the women become dried up in old age, like grapes turned into raisins, so people run away. Okay, this is not to tell about just women, but I'm just saying because women are generally beautiful and attractive, and men are also handsome. But again, the example is that in this material world, everything has a duration, and though you are very beautiful right now, but as the time passes away, this beauty will be going out. So there was a woman actress in US. When she was very popular and one of the beauty queens in US, in the cine Bollywood, Hollywood. And when she saw a white hair of she committed suicide. She couldn't even imagine that she can become old. So that is what people are so much into this material attachment that they are not able to come out of it. So why can't the beauty in this material world or in this world remain permanent? Can somebody tell why? Why is that? Any guesses?
So body has a limited lifetime. It destroys.
Yeah. So by design, it is like this. This material world has been designed such that nothing is permanent here. Because when Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it is written on stone. So what does that mean is that it's perfectly what he said. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Ashashvatam means non-permanent. It is not permanent. Anything that you take in this material world, show me one thing which is permanent. Nothing is permanent, including maybe the duration is longer. This bhumi which is there, this material world, if it will get totally gone out one day, after lakhs of years, this entire earth planet will be destroyed. A new earth planet will be created. So that is how it is designed. Okay. So we tend to forget the real permanent substance soul and give importance to the shadow material body. So what is happening with us is that we know that this material world is full of miseries and it is not permanent. But again, we tend to forget the real permanent substance, the soul, and keep only feeding the material body. The example that we have given in the past, a very rich lady brought a parrot, and that parrot she bought and put it in a golden cage, and that golden cage was decorated with rubies, pearls, diamonds, so much. And every day she comes and starts cleaning the cage, and the diamonds are shining, and everybody was surprised. So nicely she is decorating this cage, but she has hardly fed anything at all to that parrot for days together. What will happen to the parrot? Anybody? Any guesses? It will die, right?
Starve to death.
Yeah. So similarly, if you don't feed the real you, which is what your real substance, which is soul, you are only giving food to this material body, then actually what will happen to the person is that spiritual death will happen. Spiritual death, because you are not fed anything to the spirit soul. That means you will not identify yourself that I am spirit soul, because you have not fed anything. Today in our class, we will tell you, or this session we will get to know that how you can feed this spirit soul such that that spiritual death does not happen to any of us. So because you are just always giving nice food, nice clothes, nice bath you are taking, all this material body you are decorating so nicely, but what have you given to the soul? So hardly anything. So how we can really nourish the soul, or give the so that you can get that eternal happiness, and you can go to the world where you will have eternal happiness, because this is a temporary place, and you will have a lot of miseries. So how I can go there? That is the discovery that we are going to do today. Okay. So as okay, so asat means temporary, sat means permanent. So the example, now you know why people most of the time, at least Hindus, take coconuts to the temple and break their coconuts. Can somebody tell me why? There is a significance for that also. Why do people take, especially coconuts? Is there any significance of coconuts, at least in our Hindu culture?
Coconut is called Purna Phalam.
What does that mean, Mataji?
Means that is a complete fruit.
Okay.
So it represents the Atma, means inside it is very hard, outside hard, inside it is soft. Like that, It represents some Atma,
Okay.
soul.
Yeah, Mataji is very close. So the coconut
Ego.
example, yeah, Mataji, somebody else is saying something?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is the ego. It is the human ego which we are trying to submit to the God. So we break a coconut, our hard self is broken there.
Okay, okay.
When we go to a temple, we succumb because that is the omnipresent deity. So I think this is what I could closely understand.
Okay. So basically, if you see a coconut, there is a gross fiber. There is a fiber outside. When the coconut is brought, there is a gross thing that is covering the coconut. So you remove that. And the gross body is like that fiber. The fiber which is there. So this gross body is compared with that fiber. The subtle body is like the shell. So once you remove that fiber, you have the shell. That shell is that. And the soul is like the white coconut which is inside. Okay. And the water inside is like the love for God. So that is what the juice is more the love for the God. So the soul and the soul's love for God is the real thing. So if you take the coconut water is the real thing. So the soul is the white substance, which is the coconut that is there. Now, when there are so many analogies, but again, the significance is that when we take that coconut, so we need to remove the fiber and then submit it to the Supreme Lord, and you break it such that you can really give that offering to the Supreme Lord. So there is a larger contest to be discussed, but point what we are trying to drive here is that this gross body is not permanent. So the fiber which is there is thrown out. Okay. And now if you see, if somebody dies, you what do you do with that body? You just go and put it in the burial ground and burn it, or dig it and put it in the ground. So basically, what is real you is what is very important, and how you are taking care of feeding the soul is very important. Right? Sometimes what happens is that because of our ignorance, we hardly care about this spirit soul. We are just interested only in the material body. Say for example, if you got a new TV in your home, and it comes with a packaging, the thermocol packaging it comes, and if you have kids, they are more interested in taking the thermocol and playing with that. But actually, you know that the TV is very important, because not important in that sense that you have to. But again, if you see the packaging is there to protect the TV. And the purpose of you getting it is to watch the TV, you got it, and to protect it, this outer covering is there. So similarly, this body has been given for you to utilize it such that you can discover who you really are, who the Supreme Lord is, what is my connection with the Supreme Lord, how I can attain my spiritual abode. That is what you should be interested in. But you are more or less like a small kid who is more interested in the thermocol and playing with that rather than utilizing the TV, right? So that is what we meant here. Now there is a story of liquid beauty, and this is if you see Science of Self-Realization book, in that Srila Prabhupada gives the story. I'll play it for you. Srila Prabhupada speaks here in his own voice. Let me share this thing. If the voice is not okay, please let me know.
I wish to narrate one short.
You should increase your volume. The volume is less. But again, if you are not able to hear at all, I will stop it and I will let you know the same story. But again, just try and let me know.
Story that one man, one boy, was attracted by a beautiful girl. So the girl does not agree, and the boy is persistent. So in India, of course, the girls, they keep their chastity very strictly. So the girl was not agreeing, so she said, all right, I agree, after 1 week, you come. She appointed such and such time you come. So the boy was very glad. And the girl took some purgati throughout the 7 days. And she was passing stool day and night and vomiting. And she kept all these vomits and stool in a nice pot. So when the appointed time came, the boy came and the girl was sitting on the door. The boy inquired, where is that girl? She said, I am that girl. No, you are not. You are so ugly. She was so beautiful. You are not that girl. No, I am that girl. But I have now separated my beauty in a different pot. What is that? She saw, this is the beauty, this stool and vomit. This is the ingredient. Actually, anyone may be very robust or very beautiful. If he passes stool for 3 or 4 times, everything changes.
So, Srila Prabhupada, he was saying that the girl was beautiful, but again, as the time passes, everything dwindles away. So, that is the gist of the story. You might have seen that. Sorry. So, lessons from the liquid beauty story. Fleeting beauty of the material body. Real beauty is the spiritual spark. Should not get attracted madly to the temporary beauty and forget the goal of life. So, most of the time, if you see, when we are very young, like kids, so we are more interested in playing, and when we come to a youthful stage, we are attracted to opposite sex, and when we are in the middle age, we are in the rat race of making money, and just wanted to make money and feed our family and feed our ego, such that it showcase that I am this, I am that, and when old age comes, you are just trying to find out what have I really done in my life, and just before you really realize, you are just leaving your body again and taking some other body, again coming to this material world. So this keeps on happening. So there is a saying in Hindi, they say that mutti bandh kar aaya bande haath pasa kar jayega. So basically you came into this material world with a closed fist. When you see that when children, newborn babies, they always keep their fist very closed. Mutti bandh kar aaya bande. And when you are leaving this material body, you just leave it like this. You don't put it like this and leave. You see that any person who is leaving, he puts his palms like this and then leaves. Meaning to say that I have not really got benefit out of this material body. Though I came with a determination to really end my cycle of birth and death, but I couldn't really do it. So at least now realize that this opportunity has come to us. Not get distracted to these material beauties, but look towards the spiritual the spark which is there within you, and get connected to that spiritual Lord, the Supreme Lord, who is going to give you that, who is the reservoir of love and happiness. So mundane intellectuals and aesthetics, however, are deluded by the outward beauty and attraction of the relative truth, and are unaware of the spiritual spark, which is both truth and beauty at the same time. So, yeah, any doubts so far? Anybody has? So the material world versus the spiritual world, there is so much of description in Bhagavad Gita as well as in other scriptures, Bhagavatam, etc. How does the spiritual world look like and what is this material world? So the material body belongs to this material world, whereas the spiritual soul belongs to spiritual world. So it is like we are like a parrot in the cage, and I'll give you an example. So there was okay. So we will. I'll tell you that at later point of time. So our material bodies belong to this material world, and it is going to be perished, and it is full of ignorance and pain producing. The spiritual body is permanent, full of knowledge and bliss producing. The spirit souls belong to the spiritual world. So we are all originally belong to the spiritual world, and obviously you may ask, why did we really come here then? So actually the spiritual world is compared here, or the difference between spiritual world and the material world is what is compared. So in this sloka, sorry. Urdhamolam adashakam ashwadham prarurabhyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda saveda ved. Bhagavad Gita 15.1 says that this material world is compared to an upside down banyan tree. So it's a perverted reflection. The spiritual world is like a tree on the bank of the river, and this is the spiritual world on the top, and this is the material world, which is the perverted reflection. So here also you'll find a glimpse of that kind of a, what do you say, the spark that is there in the spiritual world, but again it is not permanent. It is, we also have beauty, but not compared to the Supreme Lord or to the Supreme spiritual world. So here everything is impermanent. Okay. I know sometimes these kind of topics may put you into a little bit of kind of depressive mood. Why Prabhuji is saying, or why Bhagavad Gita is giving such a information to make us depressed. But again, understand one thing: this material world is basically a bad copy of the spiritual world. That is what is revealed here. Understand, accept the fact, because we should not be in a dilemma, or we should not be a fool to not to get the reality or the actual facts. So here the facts is what is getting revealed, and Krishna is bold enough to tell you the facts. Unlike any other literature all around the world, Bhagavad Gita is the only literature which tells you the facts with no hesitation. And so that is the beauty about Bhagavad Gita. Transparent, very clear, no ambiguity anywhere. It tells you what is white, what is black. So very clear. Okay, so probably we will end here after a couple of slides. Our material body, as I told you, is a bad copy of our spiritual body. Real marble is there, but this is a fake marble. The right one is a fake marble. Real currency is there. This is a fake currency is also there. Real mango, fake mango. So spiritual beauty is the Supreme Lord, and material beauty is also there. She is beautiful, slowly dwindles away and becomes old. The material world is a perfected reflection of the spiritual world. The blissful spiritual world, the soul originally belongs to the spiritual world, whereas every word is a song there. People do not walk, they say that they dance. And every walk is a dance. And water is like nectar. And all living beings are pure. And there is no old age, disease or death. So that is what is spiritual world. So
Prabhuji, I have a small clarification.
Mataji, I was looking for somebody giving me a break.
Sir, 4 slides previously, you have it is written that our body is a bad copy of the. Can you just go back to the 4 slides previously? Then I can.
Yeah. Is this the one?
Our material body is a bad copy of our spiritual body. This particular sentence triggers a lot of thought process in my mind. Point number 1, we start to not like our body in the first place because no human being is perfect in the given situation. I mean, however, spiritually we are trying to awaken within ourselves, still we find some deficits in our mind. So how do you advise that in such a situation, how do we remediate ourselves?
So your question is that you don't like your material body. Is that
no? The sentence says our material body is a bad copy of our spiritual body. There is a spiritual body within us, but the material body will diminish with the passage of time. Means it has a shelf life. That's what is the topic going on now.
Yes, yes.
So when the shelf life is over and the body goes, then why are we going through this process? Why did Lord Krishna give us this pain?
Oh, okay. Now there is a very wonderful story that is there here, and it's an animated story. It talks about the same question that you have asked. So let us see view that video also. It is there as part of this. So then it will answer you, Mataji. Is there any other question in this regard? I got your question, so I'll show you that video.
Sure.
Okay.
That means nobody will like their material body. If at all they have started to initiate some spiritualism in their mind, then they will realize material beauty is not forever. Otherwise, everybody is in that rat race, as we said earlier in our earlier classes.
So basically understand the fact. So you don't have to hate it, or you don't have to look down upon it. It's a fact. So when you know that it's a fact, you just take it what it is. Where is the question of hating or not liking? That doesn't come. This is a fact. See, if suppose this bottle is there, this is purple in color. So do you hate this purple color? Or so basically this is a fact that this is the color. So similarly, this material body has to dwindle one day. This is a fact. So where is the question of liking it, not liking it? Krishna is trying to tell you what it is actually. What is this material body? He is giving you the qualities of this material body. He is saying that this material body or this material, whatever you see around, is ashashvatam. It is not permanent and it is dukkhalayam. This material world is dukkhalayam. Today you may not get, you might be very healthy, and or you might be getting some headaches or fever, corona, this, that. These are all part of the material world. So this is Dukkhalayam. So when you understand that this is Dukkhalayam, then you will not be disturbed by it. If not, what will happen is that, so why students are committing suicide? There are so many students, we are getting interacting with them and with so many schools, and the principals are coming and saying that one of our student has jumped from the building and committed suicide. Why they are doing it? Because when they find that there is something, their marks have come down, or some boyfriend has ditched her, or the girlfriend has ditched him, so they are committing suicide. So why? Because they are not able to understand the reality. The reality is that nothing is permanent here, and it is having a lot of miseries. When you understand that there are miseries in this material world, then if you are an intelligent person, then you look out for a place where these kind of miseries are not there. But you can try to what is a sugarcoat something which is very kadava inside, and give it to others, but you will get to know sooner or later that this is kadava. So in that sense, yes, you should take what Krishna is saying, that this material world is ashashvatam and it is dukkhalayam. If you come across dukkhalayam, the problems, understand that this is natural. It is not only for me, it will happen to everyone. I am not the only one who is facing these problems. Everyone will face these problems. Okay, Mataji, we'll go ahead. I'll show you that video. Then we'll understand.
1 minute, Prabhuji. I have my second question now coming after all this listening. Then why does acceptance come late?
Which acceptance?
Acceptance to the fact that material beauty is is not important to the body.
Not that it is coming. We are giving these classes to kids who are 5th class, 6th class. So the value education contest, this whatever we are now seeing, this is all the content material for students in the schools who are 5th and 6th class.
I attended that while I was in the office. I was listening that day, particular 11 o'clock class, Prabhuji, how the children were scribbling on the thing, everything I was seeing. So I do agree. I mean, at an early stage, all these things, if they are initiated, then we will have the acceptance at an early stage. So I got my answer.
Yeah, no, basically, Prahalad Maharaj says that this particular knowledge should be given at Kaumaram stage. That means when you are 5 years old, not that when you are 50 years old. Unfortunately, this is what is happening. When somebody asks, where did you go yesterday? I went to Bhagavad Gita class. Now you are only 30 years old. But why are you going to Bhagavad Gita class now? You should go when you are 65. Already you are 65, you have suffered a lot and you are gone into a different mode altogether. What is the use for you? I'm not saying that those who are 65 should not listen to these classes, but it will be much more valuable when you take it at a Kaumaram stage. So that is the reason why we are going and spreading this knowledge and wanted people to adopt to Bhagavad Gita, and the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, when it is given to the students, their lifespan is much more. Their impact on their life and on the society will be much more positive, and they will be able to become good citizens, and also they will be able to reveal their real identity and do good for themselves in a much better way. Make sense, Mataji? Shall we move on?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So few other things I remember. So when we compare this material world versus spiritual world, the mirage in the desert, you feel that there is water somewhere far away, but it is a mirage. There is no water there. So similarly, when we think that there is some happiness that I can get from this material world, it is only a mirage. So you ask yourself, So far in your life, have you got to say that, yes, I got this happiness and I'll continue to get this happiness forever? No, whatever activity you take, because the fact is, it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Not to put you on a depression mode, but again to understand that this is how it is designed, Baba. So you cannot do anything. Only thing is that why this particular material world has been designed such a way by the Supreme Lord. That is what we are going to see that video and then get to know. Okay. Okay. So what are we launching for in our life? We are basically spirit soul. And what is the characteristic of this spirit soul? Can anybody say? What is the characteristic quality of this particular soul?
Satchitananda.
It is Satchitananda. So Sat means everything, everybody wants to live forever. Sat means for eternity. So because that is what I always wanted to live forever. Because that is the characteristic of the soul. Everybody seeks knowledge. You, me, everybody wants to seek knowledge. That is Chit. Chit part of it. And everybody wanted unlimited happiness. That is Ananda. Okay. So the soul is constitutionally having these characteristics. That is what we are all longing for. Hence we can understand material body belongs to this material world. Spirit soul must come to the spiritual world, then experience it. And when you are taking to this chanting process, then also you can experience that Satchidananda. Because this Golokera Prema Dhana. So this Harinama Sankirtana. So Golokera Prema Dhana, this Goloka Prema Dhan which is there in the spiritual world, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us to that, us. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the Prem Dhan. So you can also experience that when you are taking up to this chanting process and taking to the holy name. See, one thing I will tell you, all these classes, whenever we are telling, if you understand one thing, to experience this, you need to come to the chanting sessions or at least do one round of chanting if you have not started chanting. Then you can experience, because Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. So this in the Harinam, this Golokera Prem Dhan is there. So when you do this chanting, then you will experience it. So that is my request to all of you. So please take up to this chanting process and experience that Prem Dhan. That the soul will get nourished and it will experience that joy. And as we have seen that if you have a chula where you with the sticks you are trying to cook something and there is a lot of smoke coming. So when you blow it on the smoke will spread all over. So that is what we are doing. We are just only trying to focus on the material front, thinking that it will give me happiness. If I get more money, if I look very beautiful, if I get a nice building, nice bank balance. So all this is spreading the smoke. You yourself will be choked up with that smoke and you will not get that happiness. But when you go and blow it at where the fire is there, then the smoke will get away. And you will now the food that you are going to cook will be cooked properly. So what I'm trying to say, the analogy wise, we need to know where to focus in our life. If you focus on the place where you can ignite that fire, that is where your good is. And you will be doing good to yourself and also to others. If you just focus on the smoke part, which is on the material front, you are going to spread that smoke and choke others and you will choke yourself also. It is not on the pessimistic way we are trying to put, this is the fact. So you have seen in your own life that whatever might be the material opulence that you might have got in a limited way, it will never give you happiness. So, yeah, there is, I asked the same question to Gauranga Prabhu when he came to my house when I was in US. Prabhuji, you are from IIT Delhi, and you might have got a good job and a handsome salary. Then why did you choose to become a monk, or started focusing on preaching activity and doing all these things? You might have got so much of bank balance by now. I foolishly asked that, and then he said that there are people who got an itch, so they feel that when you scratch, it is going to give you happiness, because when there is an itch, then when you scratch it, it is going to give you some satisfaction. But again, you know that if you keep on doing it, there will be a wound that will form and blood will start coming up, right? So similarly, you need to know how much you need, because from the perspective of how much you need is to be determined. There is something called contentment. So when you see this corporate world also, if somebody is contented, that means he is dead. They say there are big slogans for that. If somebody is contented, that means he is dead. That means he is no more there in the race to go for higher things. But again, understand that this kind of a rat race, they don't even know why they are running. Why should I run? For what reason? Money. But after getting money, what will you do? Still run. So this kind of a rat race is what each one of us are doing, and we have done. So understand that we need some basic necessities. We need to take care. You need to have financial fitness is required. Your health also is required. But at the same time, your spiritual fitness should not be compromised for any other fitness. So all these things should go parallelly, and you should have fitness at all levels, including spiritual level, financial level also. Don't become a pauper, say that I am spiritual fitness is there. You have to become financially also fit, but in a nice way you need to make money, but again not by fraud and doing things like that. Okay, so I think we are short of time now. It's already 8:15. So let me stop here and show you that video, and then we'll end now. Let me check. Okay. Are you able to see this screen? Yes, one of you
Prabhuji.
able to see, Mataji?
No, Prabhuji.
No, oh sorry, I stopped.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. So I'll show you this video. After that, we will end the discussion. Like, if you have any questions, we'll take it up for sure. So this is the video that I'm going to share with you.
A man had two sons. The younger son told his father,
"Father, I want my share of your estate now, before you die."
So his father agreed to divide his wealth between his sons. A few days later, his his younger son packed all his belongings and moved to a distant land. And there he wasted all his money in wild living. About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him, but no one gave him anything. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, "At home, even the hired servants have food enough to spare, and here I am dying of hunger." He wasted everything his father gave him. While he had the job of feeding the pigs, the young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him. But no one gave him anything. Finally, he came to his senses and said,
My father's workers have plenty to eat, and here I am starving to death. I will go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against God in heaven and against you. I am no longer good enough to be called your son. Treat me like one of your workers.
But when he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt sorry for him. He ran to his son. And he hugged and kissed him.
Hurry and bring the best clothes and put them on him. Give him a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet. This son of mine was dead, but has now come back to life. He was lost and has now been found.
And they began to celebrate.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all of you. So any questions anybody has? Bhavani Mataji?
There's no question, but it is only an overwhelming feeling of how we felt our fathers treated us.
Yeah. So once they say that when you take 2 steps ahead towards the Supreme Lord comes closer by 4 or 8 steps. So we just have to reciprocate. So we are all lost like the boy who is lost. We went against the will of the Supreme Lord when we were in spiritual world. So we are suffering here, one, and at the same time, there is a way out to come out of the suffering. And it is also given by our acharyas. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally came here 500 years back and gave us the how we can come back to the spiritual world. So only thing is that we need to follow that, take up to this chanting process, and three things, the four things basically. That is what is the formula that is already been shared in one of the things that we are going to discuss in the subsequent classes. It's called the ABCDE formula. So that one we will see. Any other questions anybody has before we end? No? Okay. Nutan Mataji, you are ready with your Kirtan? Short Kirtan?
No, Prabhuji, but I would like to go after you.
Anybody would like to do Kirtan today? Short Kirtan? Preeti Mataji? Anybody?
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
I have something different, but I don't know. It's not the regular one, which I keep listening to Jagjit Singh. Okay. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Hare Murare
He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. So this is one of my favorite song also. I have seen, when I was in Seattle, Jagdish Singh has come to Seattle. So I went to his live show that time. So that was his last live show that he did, coming to US. And he told in the live show itself, this will be my last. I will not be able to come because my health is not permitting, and I will not be able to live for long also, he said. He's one of the greatest ghazal singers. At the same time, there is one cassette I used to like a lot when I was very young called Ma. That Jagdish Singh Ma is also a very nice one. So with that, we will end today. And once again, I request you all to take up to this holy name chanting that we do early in the morning. We are starting at 6 and we are extending it till 7:30 these days. So please do come anytime as per your convenience and really experience that bliss and get connected with the Supreme Lord. It's a trunk call that you are doing, direct connection to the Supreme Lord by taking this holy name. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way other than chanting. So if I wanted to reveal one thing. See, each one of us wanted to experience this spiritual bliss. We wanted to be happy. But our mind is so much dictating us, and our real interest we are compromising. And that we are compromising because we are not able to come out from our comfort zone. So if you can overcome that threshold, that whatever barrier that you are created yourself, then only you will be able to experience. And for that, This is the test that we have. And unless you see this material world is compared with it is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, and it is like a jail, and this is called Durg, jail kota. A fort is called Durg in Sanskrit, and this kota, this Durg is the jailer is Durga Devi. That's the name. That's the reason why her name is called Durga Devi. She is the jailer for this Durg. So she is always giving you these three difficulties: Adibhautika, Adidevika, Adhyatmika kleshas, such that you will realize that you need to come out and go to your eternal abode. If the jail itself is so comfortable, where is the question for you to think about that I need to go back to the spiritual world? So this is a reformatory kind of a platform that is given to you, or you are put into that, such that you can come out of this jail. And the coming out of this jail is through the process that we are following, and that is through seva, swadhyaya, and sadhana. So sadhana is very important. Take up to this holy name process. Come out of your comfort zone and do a couple of rounds of chanting in the group, and you will definitely able to experience, and you will be able to feed the soul, which is all what it is looking for, is this connection with the Supreme Lord, because that's where you are going to get that love and happiness. So with that, we will end. Thank you very much for joining. So once again, we will meet again in our game session, which is next Sunday. But in between Tuesdays and Thursdays, we are going to do Bhagavad Gita verse by verse. Please join that also. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all of you.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.